siphoned off, and it was the reason for perpetuating the war.
Well, let's keep talking. I'm interested in your history here. So
Right.
you're an eyewitness to history. You're Garrison's head of security.
Mm.
Um, what was that like? And also being a double agent, do you think he knew?
When you're 26 years old and the adrenaline flows like that, and you've got the brains to be able to follow the bouncing ball of what I'm talking about, then you're it's sort of like you can play. You don't realize how good you can play chess till you're forced to play it in the big leagues. So the bottom line was that once the once you unnerve me.
Yeah, why don't you step out for
I
a
have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
second?
go
yeah.
this
Yeah,
way.
she's
I'm
again. She's having
I'm
psychic
reactions.
reactions to all
I'm
this.
having
Uh-huh.
reactions to your story.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
No, leave the door. Leave the door.
Yeah, she's psychic.
Leave
She's
the
very
door
psychic.
open.
She
She's fucking
gets.
crazy.
Yeah, she's a.
Don't
But what was all this all about?
She gets into psychics, like a trance sort of thing. Go ahead. From your story, go ahead.
Yeah, someone must have died connected to what you were doing.
Yeah, she's
getting all
picking up.
freaked
She's like
out.
a
So
medium.
who got killed? Who do you know got killed and murdered?
She's picking up.
David
Something.
Ferry got killed and murdered. Clay Shaw got killed and murdered.
You knew all these people, right?
Yeah, Dean Andrews got killed and murdered. We're talking about they did it in the open. I mean, Clay Shaw did it. They put him through a fucking trial nobody should ever go through. Okay, and then they castigate the man at the top of his life, and he's a quasi-closeted homosexual. That's the epitome of New Orleans trade affairs. Okay, so and an agent of the CIA as a natural consequence of being in the job he held. Okay, which is director of the International Trade Mark. So, bottom line, yeah, there was a lot of death around that. There was a lot of bad news. There was a lot of history. I fired back when Garrison attacked me. Him and Hefner attacked me with the Playboy piece they did in the Playboy interview of Garrison, and he's fucking throwing hand grenades at me for being a CIA man. I'm saying, ain't true, motherfucker. Ain't true. Ain't true, really ain't true. So he didn't pay attention. I kept telling him stop it, and so I went and sued him in federal court, and I got Jack Ruby's appellate attorney, Elmer Gertz, to represent me to sue Garrison and Playboy.
Wow.
And they had to run, and they ran to Arthur Goldberg's law firm and had them defend them. We went all the way to Supremes on that little tale. But Hoover demanded in the middle of the case that I dismiss the lawsuit against Garrison. And I sent back a message to him. That was not very well taken. I just, at that point I had enough on him to bury him. So we were, we knew about him and fooling around with the kids and, all that shit.
What was your personal
Kennedy,
So
you
know,
can't kill the president of the United States and get away with it unless you're the FBI. It's going to do the investigation because nobody else has got jurisdiction.
Wow. What proof do you have of that?
What? The fucking law itself is to prove.
Well, you were working for the State Department. No,
No, I was working for the White House.
you were with the White House.
Yeah, but I sold my pitch to the State Department that got me to the White House.
Interesting. Garrison and you. Now, what can you share with us? Let's pretend we don't know as much as these guys, and it's the average viewer. And when someone encounters you, what information can you share with us? Do you think that really needs to get into the public that you personally saw, and why?
I see it every day. We're living in a quasi-fascist psyops police state today. I mean, and most of the shit that goes on and the corruption in business has reached such a level, it's ridiculous. I mean, the politicians are bought and paid for. The way the economies are pitched to constantly increase debt on the developing nations is nothing short of fucking, treasonous. By what standard? Who's treason? That's the problem. None dare call it treason, but or none dare call it conspiracy even. But the bottom line is that the world's run by a clack of evil people.
Well, but I want to get back to the, you were there for the Kennedy assassination. You knew Garrison. You worked in the Johnson White House. What information can you share with us that you personally saw that you think is important, whether it relates to the use of water grade techniques by our government that you may have participated in, the cover up of UFO technology, which you allude to as the real reason Kennedy was killed? Bring me back. What did you see? What did you hear? What would you want to record on tape right now, personally, as an eyewitness?
Well, I mean, that's one statement, but I mean, there were other issues on the Kennedy thing. Kennedy had pissed him off. I mean, he pissed him off. But Bobby was turned loose by John to attack the mob after the mob delivered him the fucking election, really and truly.
Right. Sure.
And on the one side, and the other side was that the actual votes that the mob brought